Yo, guys. So for this one, I definitely want to hear feedback because this is something I'm extremely interested in. And that is, do you have to be the same religion as your parents? And do we need religion to have a moral code? Which I don't think you do. Why do I say this? Religion didn't always exist. And religions existed in different forms. Just because it is religion doesn't mean it's necessarily pure. So, or pure-hearted, because pure-hearted and pure could be different things depending on the time. But we will get into that as the guys talk. Please like, comment, subscribe if you like content like this. Comment below first to let me know if you guys agree, and then as we go on to the video, let me know if that changes, or if I pose arguments or they pose arguments that go against what you say.
What if there is no time and nothing is really ever meant to change?
Or what if we are in a simulation until you get it right?
Then that's when you get out.
Till you get it
We're
right.
never getting out.
No.
We're never getting out.
Death is when you get out.
No, until you as a society get it right.
It's death.
It's death.
Well, some
I think that anyway.
no, some religions believe
and not even to be morbid. But
no.
You can only go but so many places with your body. You can't take it everywhere. You can't get to where you.
So some religions believe that you come back in reincarnation,
reincarnation.
right? Until you get it right,
And then
you reach a seventh heaven.
Oh,
of
you keep
nirvana.
coming here?
Until you get it right.
No.
They believe it.
That's
they,
where
they got
you-
7 heavens, and then once you get to the 7th heaven, before y'all go stupid. I don't know this. I wasn't raised like this. I'm talking about it in
Are you
context.
religious?
Hey, yeah, nigga.
Hey,
My mother's the Pentecostal boy.
I don't even know what that is.
The fire and brimstone, get busy
That's
church.
the big church.
That's the get busy church.
That's the church with
She
the
hold the snakes
That's
and
the
all
church
that?
with the ill design.
She holds the snakes.
I can't even have.
That's a
can't even talk
religion.
religion with my mom.
No, Pentecostal.
Oh, okay.
It's shouting,
Ah,
churchy, church.
church.
Baptist.
But that don't mean
Church,
that you have
church,
to be
church.
that because your mom is that, right?
Um,
Like religion don't
in
have
my
to be
own-
passed
in
now.
my-
You
yeah,
don't.
yeah. And so I was raised in a Pentecostal church and Christian, Baptist, all of that. And then throughout the course of my life, I took a little bit from here, a little bit from here, a little bit from here. That makes sense. I got some of my closest friends that are Islamic, and what a lot of the shit that they say makes sense, right? And then I have some friends that are atheists. Some of the stuff that they say makes sense. I had some friends that were Scientologists. Some of the shit that they say makes sense.
There's also a lot of commonalities between all the major
I was
That
just,
is true.
I was,
That
I
is
was just
true,
getting ready
too.
to say that.
That's true.
It's kind of all saying
And then I read a lot.
same thing.
And so in my own readings, a lot of religions all have really, really close similarities, really close symbolic people,
Yeah.
right? That this country might have called you blah, blah, blah. Another country referred to this person as such and such. Kind of similarities and shit. But a lot of them have like karma. Throughout any religion you go to, there's some karmic principle in that religion.
So 2 things. I'm going to go into first the simulation theory that they were talking about. Like, are we in a simulation? That kind of stuff. And I'm going to transition that just like they did into the whole idea of religion and everything. So the idea of we're in a simulation, I don't know why, but science has identified that the possibility that we are in a simulation is more probable than the probability that we're not. I don't know how this study was done. I did not look into it too much. I saw a couple headlines and I read into it a little bit a while ago. But if you look it up on Google, you will be able to find that. I don't know what that's about. I don't know how that's related to religion at all. But if you look at religion and you look at a figure that is not controlling necessarily, but that created everything, all the people, the planets, the universe, the stars, the water, the earth, the animals, all of that. Is it so far-fetched to, if you think abstractly even about that specific idea, what if God and heaven or hell is another level of the simulation? What if, you pass on from life, you go to, if you did more pure than bad or whatever the rules are to get there, you go to heaven. If you did bad stuff, terrible stuff, especially like murdering people, then you go to the bad part of the simulation, or the simulator, God, is like, okay, well, you did bad, you're going to suffer. You did good, you're not going to suffer. I don't know about this. I'm just shooting at the hip, but from when I was really small, my mom, I think was Pentecostal. My mom's Puerto Rican. I thought she was Roman Catholic just because so many Puerto Ricans are, but she wasn't. So she grew up in a very religious home. I have a couple aunts and stuff that are religious. My dad, Panamanian. I'm not sure what branch of Christianity it was, but it was Christianity. My aunts are pretty religious. I have a pretty religious family overall. I've always been curious about religion. Like since I was a little kid, like why is this how it is? What happens when kids pass away? Do they go to heaven? Do they go to hell? What about animals? What happens to them? And everyone has a different version of the truth. And this Bible that people are supposed to live according to, everyone doesn't live according to the exact pure message or whatever translated message they have line by line. It's just impossible today. I'm not saying that's a fault necessarily with people, but I think it's a fault in that specific idea, the scripture. And Rogan, or not Rogan, but Budden's talked about this before. It's just I have no idea. I'm not doubting the idea of a higher power. I'm saying I don't necessarily know. If I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not going to lie. I'm at this point an atheist. I don't necessarily believe in higher power, but do I believe that it's impossible? No. Atheists don't necessarily have to believe that it is impossible or taunt religion or anything like that. I don't do any of that because I have a lot of religious family, and I wonder about the idea of some kind of higher power. But if we're in a simulation, that higher power is still, that would be a god to us. That's why I think it's so interesting that they talk about simulation theory, and I wanted to have that here. I don't know how we transfer from a simulation. No one knows that. Like the seventh heaven things and all that. I don't know about that. I don't know how these things are found, any of that. But the idea of do we need to be the same religion as our parents? Of course not. We don't need to be the same religion as our parents at all. I'm gonna let this video rock a little more, finish, and then I'm gonna go into that idea.
Even not just like, not even just religion. Like if you just believe in energy,
Yeah, then karma. What you throw out comes
what
back.
you could throw out exactly.
That's
And that's why I say I think all the religions, if you strip them all down to the bare bones, they're all saying the exact same thing
But you need them, unfortunately.
to control people.
I agree with that. Because if it wasn't no religion, then we would be back to animalistic nature and Darwinism, where I'm bigger than you, I could take your shit. I don't give a fuck. Huh?
We kind of.
We're not at.
I was kind of that. Capitalism is similar.
Yeah.
Nah, we not.
I'm richer than you. I can take
Yeah.
your shit.
That's what it
But
is.
again, the richer is
What's religion
very,
fixed
very
out
small
there?
percent. Huh?
What has religion fixed out there? It's anarchy.
It's not. It's nowhere near anarchy. Where again, you live in a community where you can't just go on somebody's shit and take it because you got a gun. You can't go on somebody's shit and take it. And not even a gun. Forget. I'm just saying morally, you've been instilled in you has been some value system where you look at robbing somebody is wrong, where you look at beating somebody up just because you can is wrong, where you look at a woman being less physically capable than you, but you taking whatever she possesses as wrong. That's rooted in religion at some point.
See, I don't think that's religion. I think that's
Me
just
either.
pure moral.
And
It doesn't
moral
have to
code.
be religion.
Go
but
deeper. Go deeper.
I'm just saying.
Most
Morality
people's
doesn't come
morals
from
that were
religion.
passed down to
I don't care about most.
them came from some religious source.
You're not wrong.
Most people,
okay.
right?
I'm with
so
you. I'm
most
with you.
people. So even with us, right? In America, we have a certain standard of morals and what we think is quote unquote right.
Right.
Go to another country, they don't look at that same moral compass that we look at. Right. So that's one of the problems where we fight in other countries is we try to instill our value system on them. We went to Iraq and tried to make them democratic. That's not what they do. Right? We go to other countries, and whether it's right or wrong, the role that women play in other countries, that's not what they do. And we try to instill in them our value system and our morals, right? In which over here, if you have 6 wives, you're going to jail. You're going to go be in another country, you can have 6 wives and you not go to jail. So again, your morals are contingent upon how you were raised. But a lot of them are rooted in religion to maintain control and order.
It's real shit.
Okay, time for some controversy. So, I'm going to challenge this. Okay, I'm going to explain my education a little bit. I graduated in psychology and pre-medicine. I took the MCAT. That's the only reason why I talk about the pre-medicine. If I didn't do something that could have transitioned directly into medical school, I wouldn't talk about that. But I really find psychology and philosophy very interesting. And I've, like Ish, done a lot of research about religion, different religions, Buddhism, hedonism, Christianity, Catholicism, Muslim idealizations, all the ideas of of Israel, the nation of Israel, all of that. I've done some research. I've done research on the history of these religions and things like that. And the beginning of Christianity is a complicated and toxic start with Constantine. So I don't want to talk about all of those things too much. I don't want to get into too much controversy. But the way that it was kind of pressed upon people originally, I think it was a little bit much. I think it's a little forceful. And when it comes to the idea of morals and everything coming from religion, when you're born as a baby, if you're not born around regular people, if you're born around animals or whatever it may be, or if you're born, I mean, in a more open environment, not necessarily you're being raised by animals because you'll never learn how to speak, but if you're being born into an environment where there's less of a distraction around you, you guys aren't talking about religion and things like that, I don't think you're going to just naturally be a fiend, like a fiendish monster or ghoul or anything like that. I think it comes down to who you are. I think some people are going to be more inquisitive about things and less inquisitive. I think some people are going to be more fearful or less fearful of death and what may result of death afterwards. Because just because you believe in God does not mean that you're going to go to the idea of heaven. Just because you say you are and all that stuff doesn't mean that. How many stories do you know of pastors that have done stuff to children or of other religious characters or figures doing things to people? It's not right to me. It's not right at all to me, a lot of those things. So when it comes to, do you need religion to have a moral code? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And do you need to be the same religion as your parents? I wasn't. So that's what it comes down to. Because people always talk about, oh, well, you are blah, blah, blah of your parents, of your parents, of your parents, blah, blah. You are. I haven't necessarily been that way. I've always been super inquisitive. That's why I think some people are just going to be more so that way and less likely to just agree with what they're being told or question. I question a lot of things. I'm not saying that's always a good thing, but it's definitely the reason why I didn't grow up believing the same things as necessarily the people around me. So we do not need religion to have a moral code. And no, you do not need to be the same religion as your parents, but it does happen very, very often. I would say a tremendous amount of times. I don't know all the characteristics that might separate that, but it is what it is, guys. So if you guys like this content, if you guys like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time. I hope you guys have a great day.